Morning, guys. Testing, testing. Let me know if you can't hear me. You can obviously see me looking like a smurf. I cannot get my, I don't know what's going. I cannot get this room from not looking blue. It's like I've got some neon blue light on the ground, which I don't. I don't know if it's just because it's early morning. There's not much sunlight in this room. It absolutely baffles me why I always look blue in this room, but I'm moving soon, so maybe I won't have a blue room. I don't know. I had a blue jumper on this morning, and I swear I just look like a smurf. I had to quickly go and run and find a new one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my chat. Thank you, Duncan. Yeah, early start. The reason why I have to make them a little bit early, which might seem a little bit silly, is like 50% of my audience comes from the US now, and 20% of the audience comes from UK. So only 25% of my audience are actually Australian. So I kind of have to try and cater the time-wise for everyone, and it's like literally impossible. If I time it that suits the Aussies, then the Americans and the UK are all in bed. So I like to try and get as many people in here as possible. I try and time it to work around all the different people that follow me and might want to join. So that's why it's a bit early. It's 8 o'clock here in the morning. So it's not too bad, but I do know that the time has changed over in the UK. So I think it's 10 o'clock at night there for them, and America has about 6 different time zones. So I'm never really sure what time it is in America, but yeah, it is quite early. Hey, thank you everyone so much for coming in. I said hello to a few in the chat, and I can see there's heaps more coming in. So welcome everyone. Now, if anybody here has any questions for me and I start to miss them, because I do have a little bit of trouble keeping up with the chat, especially when more and more people start coming in, please just put question or something at the front of it so that I can try and not miss it. And I have got a lovely lady who messages me on Instagram. She can't make my live, but she watches back. And I did miss, hold on, my mouse has just died, so I'm just going to plug that in. Oops, I won't be able to comment to anyone if I don't have a mouse. Where are we? Okay, let's plug that in for a few minutes. Okay, now there was a lovely lady. I was saying she's on Instagram. I missed her question last week, and she has asked me if I can do her question today. So I'll do her question first so I don't forget. Okay, this is from Carol. She has said, when I buy some book hauls and there's no sold comps, or the books are comping for really low value, do I still list them? So, Carol, this is what I'm doing now with low books. If a book is worth under, say, $14 for me to post, and that includes shipping, so $14 including shipping, which would mean that I would earn around a $4 to $5 profit on a $14 book. It's not huge. I'm not getting rich off my $4 profits, but you know, they're bread and butter, and those are the books that I'm picking up for free in hauls, or like literally like 10 cents. I'm not going and buying books that I'm selling for $14 for like $1 or $2 a book. But basically now, if there's a book that's worth under $14, I'm not selling that book anymore. Like I'm not listing it. So I do have books in my store that are priced around that $12 to $14 mark, and they are probably older books, or since I've decided to go forward not listing books under the $14 mark. So then you've got two options. If you're not going to list your book because it's not worth enough, you either have to make up bundles and resell them onto Facebook or something. You can redonate those books to the charity shop because somebody might want them. Or you can make up like assorted bundles, which is what I'm looking at doing. I'm actually looking to soon go through my eBay stores, and any books that I've got listed for under $14, I'm probably going to pull them off my website, pull all the listings, and then I'm going to have a look at those books, and I might be able to bundle some of them up. They might not be the same author, but they might be like, I might have 3 or 4 crime fiction books that are all like in really good condition, but they're such low value to sell individually. But maybe if I mix them all up, like 3 or 4 mixed authors, but same genre, I might be able to sell like 4 books and get them into a satchel and sell them off for cheap. So you've got to get a little bit savvy with it. You don't make a lot of money off those low-end books that you're selling as individuals. And so you have to decide whether or not it's worth your time. And as for a book where there's no sold comps, that can be a little bit tricky. And so if there's no sold comps, then I would straight away look if there was any listed comps. And I would kind of look at the prices that they are going for, but I would also take into account that there's not a high sell-through rate. So I would look at the pricing very carefully of what others have got it listed for, and then take into consideration that there's possibly no sales. In saying that, if you are a store like myself who has the out of stock function on, your sales don't actually show as solds. So you won't see my solds in my store because I use the out of stock function, which means when I get a book that is exactly the same, I can just do a, add it like it's back into stock. I can swap the photos around, but all the details are back there in the back end of past history of watches, sales, etc., which eBay does like. So I use the out of stock function, and there's many sellers that also use the out of stock function. And when you are using that function, your sales don't show. So it can be a little bit skewy when you look and you think, oh, there's no books that have sold or no clothing items that have sold of that particular type, especially if it's quite a common type. And you sit there and think, there's nothing sold. But in actual hindsight, there could be a lot of things sold. They're just not showing because people have them marked as out of stock, big sellers or full regular sellers, or, not all sellers, full-time sellers use that. But if you're picking up a lot of stock all the time that you can sell similar and do a relist on, it's a good idea to use the out of stock function, which is what I do. I get a lot of books that are exactly the same. So that's that question, Carol. And I know you had another one here. What is it? I'm about to go on to holidays for 2 weeks. Should I set the whole store to holiday mode or just the handling time to 10 business days? And would you keep listing from drafts daily while you're on holidays to keep the activities alive? Okay, 1, if you're going on holidays, go on holidays. Enjoy yourself and try not to do eBay. like really, we all deserve holidays. If you were in a normal job, if you were the cook down at McDonald's and you go on holidays, you're not there trying to run into the local McDonald's and help them out in the kitchen. I know it's different because it's our own business, but we still, as business owners, we need some time off. So my suggestion was, if you want to have daily listings happening while you're on holidays, don't list them manually while you're actually away. You can schedule those listings to schedule out. You can schedule your listings for a whole month in advance if you want. So you can have 5 listings going out at certain times through the day, 10 listings, 20, however many you want to do. So you can get those listings done now before you go on to holiday, but you can schedule them out so they're still going up while you're on holiday. So then you don't manually have to go in there and list anything while you're away. And as for putting your store into a holiday mode, I probably would recommend just changing your handling time. I sometimes don't think that, I think sometimes if you turn your store off for like 10 days, then it's going to take a while for it to boost back up once you get home. So if it was me, I would put it onto a 10-day handling and leave it up to the buyer. If they're not in a hurry for the item, they will quite happily sit there and wait 10 days. If they're in a hurry for the item, then you'll probably lose the sale and they'll go on to somewhere else. But if you turn your store off completely, you'll get 0 sales. So you just never know which buyer is prepared to sit there and wait. So I hope that helps you, Carol. Now, let me go back here. Let me see if my mouse is working so I can scroll down here and see if I've missed anything. Welcome, everyone. There's so many people here. David, can you do a video on picking your orders with a timer, please? I've seen enough packing videos. Okay, David. Now, you will be excited about this then. On the weekend, I bought a new vlogging camera. So what this means is Normally the reason why you don't see me picking orders in my videos or photographing things is because I need my phone to do those things. So I use my phone to pick my orders, and I use my phone to take the photos. So it's like literally it's been impossible for me to film myself doing those tasks, unless I'm doing it in some kind of cheating way. And I didn't want to do that because I use the phone to pick my orders. So I wanted to, when the time came, I wanted to show that. So I got the new camera. I talked my husband into it. And I will be doing a video for you with picking some orders, showing how I'm photographing. And you'll be able to see a few more behind the scenes stuff because normally I'm using my phone to video, but I'm having to stop and start it in between needing to actually use the phone. So that's going to be really cool. So yes, stay tuned. I will do an audio, a video for you as I'm picking the orders. So you can see how I do it and how long it takes me and all that stuff. Red Riding Hood. Oh, Red Riding Hood Red. I said that wrong. Isn't that funny how sometimes you read a name and it's completely wrong, but it's just how you read it. First time catching you alive. Thank you. I haven't done a lot of lives this year, but I missed them, and I am definitely doing it live probably every fortnight, guys. So I'm not sure I'm going to set a specific day because my days get a bit manic, my weeks get a bit manic, and we're going to be moving house soon. So I think I'm just going to pop them up the night before that I plan that I'm able to do them. Jody, what is the longest time you've spent looking for a book? Oh, I'm pretty quick at looking for I'm pretty quick. When I'm picking the books, I'm looking at the photo of the spine. I've got the photo of the spine on my camera, on my phone. So all I'm doing is running down looking for the spine. And some of the books now I'm putting a SKU number on, and they are so fast for me now. That's been amazing. Since I've implemented the SKU on some of the books, now I just want a SKU system on the whole on the whole shop, which is going to take me forever. How long is it? Oh, look, there has been times where it's taken me maybe 10 minutes or something to find. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't time it. Sometimes it probably feels like longer than it actually is. Most of the time I'm pretty quick. There's been the occasional book that I just haven't found. And actually the other day I decided to start doing an inventory stock take off my bundles of books. I was kicking myself because I found a bundle of books that I couldn't find a few weeks ago, and I had to cancel the order. And I was so angry at myself because it was literally like Game of Thrones sets. It was like 8 big, thick books. How did I not? It was right there. So I think sometimes you just look. If you're tired and you're looking, you can miss things. So hopefully not too long. I'm pretty quick. Normally I'm just in there 30 seconds, a minute or whatever. Where are we? I just dropped lucky tonight. Thought this was usually a Monday slot. It used to be, yeah. I used to do my lives on a Tuesday morning last year, but I haven't done that this year. So it's all been mixed around a little bit this year. You're a photographer, you should know. I think you're talking about my lighting here, Dave, that I'm not very good at. And I was not a great lighting photographer. So I was a natural light photographer. So I relied 100% on natural light. I didn't like to use studio lighting and stuff. And I used to shoot families and stuff outside. So I was all about the natural light. So these ring lights, and they're all quite foreign to me. I don't like them. What are your March sales totals? Oh, I haven't even looked, but I've definitely been a little bit slower. What are we in now, March? I've definitely been a little bit slower these last few weeks, and I did message eBay about it and said, look, I feel like my sales are a little bit slower. It's a little bit hard to see because I've been a little bit inconsistent the last few weeks, and I haven't been listing as consistently as normal. So I'm a 100% believer that consistency is the key, and I've slacked off on my consistency with listing. So it's probably partly to blame from my end, but I did message eBay and said, I've noticed a lot of people talking about slow sales. I've noticed my sales have been a little bit slower. What's going on? She looked at my store and she said to me, you've got almost 1,300 listings with item specifics that are recommended. And I said, yes, recommended, not required. All the required ones are done. These are the recommended, you know, the silly ones that are pointless. Anyway, she said to me, you need to do your item specifics. So I spent 3 or 4 days last week going through and updating all those 12, nearly 1,300 item specifics. And I now have 0 listings in one of my stores, which is the main store that I want to pursue. Or I don't have any item specifics waiting on that store now. And I have noticed an increase in sales since I've done the item specifics. So I'm not going to lie about it. There has definitely been an increase in sales. The cha-ching started right back up as soon as all those item specifics were done. So I don't know. I don't know what my March sales are. They're definitely down, probably around that 20%, I would say, but haven't actually added the stores up to see what the total is. Oops, my chat just jumped. Where are we? Can't believe I've caught a live chat. On the couch after being bitten by a white-tip spider that was in my eBay storage. Ouch. Those white tips hurt. They're nasty. Hi, Sheila. Hello, Junk Girl Patty. Mel, check if there is a white balance option on your camera. If there is, mess around. I've played around with the white balance. Look, if I turn it on. I can't. I'm just like I can't get it. I've got the settings here. I fiddled with them all. I don't know what it is. 4 o'clock here in the US. Okay, close to Cincinnati, Ohio, but across the state. How cool! I love seeing everyone from the different states. Hey, Peter Ray. Hey, Kelly. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock there, roughly in America. Okay. Hey, Lewis. Hey, Craig. I'm seeing in here. I know I'm missing people. I'm just seeing if there's any questions. I'm scrolling through. There's a lot of chit chat here. Okay, question. What is the longest time you've spent looking for a book? Okay, I answered that one. You must have said it twice. And have you sold a book that you've misplaced? Yep, definitely. Have you ever given up and cancelled an order due to it being lost, or are you too organized? So I try not to cancel the orders. You know, there's a kind of a way that you can get around it. So you can send the buyer a message, right? So instead of just canceling the order and saying, I have to cancel this order, I have to cancel this order, I can't find the order, and then guess what happens? Your eBay account takes a ding to it. So what I would recommend is if you message the buyer and say, hey, I'm really sorry, I've misplaced your order, or I can't find your order, whatever the reason is, would you like to swap the item for another thing in my store, or would you like me to cancel the order, right? So you're asking them, you're telling them, I've misplaced the order. What would you like me to do? Would you like me to swap it? Would you like me to cancel it? Guess what they're going to say? Oh, no, sorry. Can you cancel the order? Cancel the order, and then you don't get a ding on your buyer asked to cancel the order. Trick. That's my little handy tip for you guys. Don't just go and cancel the order because you can't find it. It's just all about the way that you word with the buyer in a message. Tell them that you've misplaced it, but give them 2 options. I can either swap it for something else in my store, take your pick, or to the same value, whatever, or would you like to cancel? Guaranteed they're nearly always going to say, no, just cancel the order. Buyer asked to cancel. Bye-bye. So I know it's not great, but, you know, like I think get real. Like when we have like 3,500 items in our store, occasionally we're going to misplace one, or like I've actually found while I've been doing a stock take that I've got double listings in my store of items that aren't double listings. And I've got listings that seem to have fallen off the radar. So there's definitely glitches that go on with eBay. And sometimes it's probably not even our fault that we can't find an order. But definitely just be careful how you word it so that you're not actually canceling it and getting a ding to your account. Yep, good idea. Aim for the $15 or higher. Look, obviously I want even $20 or higher, but when I'm picking up a lot of these books for free or for like super cheap bundles, there are a lot of them that are worth around that $15 mark. And like $15 is still a $5 profit when I'm getting a book for free or for like under 50 cents. So $5 is $5, and it's because I've got the processes down really, really fast because I'm doing everything in batches and I'm doing everything is the same thing. It's not hard for me to add those $15 books in. It's not really that much more time consuming for me to do it. Mystery box of books. Yeah, I don't know about a mystery box. I always worry about mystery boxes as such, but I definitely think bundles of assorted books by different authors. I'm going to give it a bit more of a go. I've done it a little bit, but not a lot. But I'm thinking I'm going to start doing it more to try and get rid of some of these low-end books. Where are we? Do you ever use the book buying apps? No, I don't use book buying apps. I think maybe it's a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit different in Australia, our book market. I have heard of a couple that you can use, but I haven't used them. No. What 1% tweaks are you implementing right now, and what ones are you going to be doing to move forward as you grow your business? Okay, so what 1% tweaks? And what are you going to be doing to go forward? 1% tweaks. I think what I'm tweaking at the moment is the inventory. Like I have forfeited doing extra listings at the moment to update my SKU system. And because in one of my videos a few weeks ago, I told you guys that I was going to be closing down one of my eBay stores. So what I've been doing is really focusing on the store that I want to keep and getting everything right as possible in that store. So I'm focusing on I'm focusing on doing like stock take. I'm focusing on making sure I don't have double listings. I'm focusing on doing like inventory SKUs. So all of that kind of stuff is time consuming and it doesn't actually help my sales as such at the moment. So I've kind of taken a bit of a hit on those, I think, because I've been focusing on this area of it. But I kind of feel like if I can get that really strong now in one store, then as I start running down the second store and start merging some of the stock from that store, or as I'm adding new stock to the main store, because everything's going to be going into that one store, if I can just stay on top of all that, like so I've got no item specifics that need doing, no messages waiting and sitting in my inbox, all the offers are being constantly sent. If all my activity starts to go really on that one store, I think it's going to pull the store up. But I think I've got to ride one of those roller coasters while I'm getting it all into practice, if that makes sense. And as for like tweaks and stuff and to grow the business, I don't know. I'm having a hard time growing it at the moment just because I feel like I've got so much going on, and I don't know if I'm better off I've got this issue constantly with storage. So I don't know if I'm better to grow the business in terms of just keep growing these numbers, set and forget, or if I'm better to try and keep a smaller store around the 2,000 mark and really, really be focusing on constantly moving that stock to get like a higher sell-through rate. So my sell-through rate at the moment is about 44%, which is not too bad, but I would like it up around the 65%, 70%. So I don't know if like by focusing on less items in one store, and when I say less items, I'm still talking a couple of thousand. I just mean like not 5,000. Am I better off to have 2,000 and just keep tweaking and focusing and running sales and promotions and marketing and stuff, and then adding less items to the store? So instead of constantly trying to be like, oh, let's get 100 new listings up a day, focus on getting more quality listings up there so there's less listings, but really juggling and maneuvering that store to try and get the sell rate up higher. I've got a lot going through my brain. Hey, Clay, I'm watching while I am doing Uber. I don't know which one it is. Whichever one I say, I always say it wrong. And I'm trying to say now, when I'm at home, I think I say Uber. And everyone always corrects me and says Uber. But Uber doesn't sound right. It's Uber. I don't know. Have fun with your Ubering. Sometimes the $10 green A4 550 card envelopes is profitable when buying stock at 50 cents. It is, David. The green envelopes are great. I have kind of stepped away from using them, and I think it's for the main focus that I got the Dymo. I just find it so easy to print my label with the tracking, with the Dymo, and put it all on there. Otherwise, with the green envelopes, I've either got to manually type it out onto another sticker to do it, or handwrite it, or copy and paste and cut it out like I used to from paper. I don't know. There is a savings to it, but it's also just another, like I've got my posting so streamlined and fast by using the padded mailers that when I go back to the green envelopes, it slows me down. So there's that catch-22 between the saving the money and the saving the time. And I've been all about saving the time. But now that there's been a little bit of a post increase, maybe, yeah, on some of those lower end books, definitely worth using the $5.50 card, and I'm probably being a little bit slack, to be honest. I could be saving myself some money there, so I probably should look at going back to some of those cards and just trying to work it out. The problem is then you've got to kind of see, like, because I've got my stock in one area and I have to print my labels here, so I can look at a fiction book and know that that's individually, it's going into a padded mailer. It's going to fit into a padded mailer. But if I can't see the thickness of the book to know if it's 2 centimeters, I've either then got to be like checking that before I list it so I can put it into the listing so it notifies me maybe that it can fit into a green envelope. I don't know. That's where I start making mistakes. Thank you, Mark. Great job on arranging your store. Thank you so much. Hello from Melbourne. Coconut Luxe Handmade. That sounds nice. Sounds like you make candles or something. If you're on eBay, you're not allowed a holiday. We are allowed holidays. You just have to plan them out a little bit more. Hello from Canada. Where are we? The holiday mode has had issues in the past. I recommend the dispatch times need to increase. Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that, Dave. Definitely don't put it onto like a holiday mode. For the storage bill that you're paying, couldn't the bank lend you the money to lift up your home and use the ground floor as storage area? No. So we're about to move into a new house that we're going to renovate. Now, this is only a small house. Guys, I'm going to be living in a small house with lots of kids. What the plan is that we're going to move into this house, do some renovating on it, basic renovating, and maybe in about 12 months, we're going to look at the options then, because this is a different area that I'm used to living in. So I've been living out in the area that I am now since I was 19, and I'm nearly 45. So I've been living in this area for a long time. So the area that I'm moving to is back to the area that I grew up in. And I haven't been there like for a long time. And it's much older suburb, and it's just not 100% how I feel about moving away from the area that I'm in. So after about 12 months, we'll just have a think about it. If I like living there, if we like living there as a family, then the option will be that we have enough land there and space that we could add on a shed to make for my eBay room. We've got enough room on the block of land to add another shed for eBay. So I think at the moment it's just kind of like, let's give it another 12 months. Let's settle into this new house. Let's renovate. Let's see if we like living there, how it all works, and then we can decide going forward what we do about my storage space. But at the moment, the storage space is okay. It costs money, but it doesn't send me broke. Like it's okay. Like, and I much prefer paying for that storage space than having the books in my house. Like, I love having my eBay separated from my house. Absolutely love it. The hardest part is videoing in there because I have to work around noise. So when other people are coming in, moving, or quite often they're not doing big moves, but there's people that come and go, and I have to kind of work around the noise. So that annoys me more than anything. But as for having the stock there, it's okay. It's costing me about $250 a week for all the units, which is not too bad. It's not too bad. Yes, holiday mode is like a vacation mode. You need to work out the Aussie slang a bit more, Craig. The Aussie Hustler, hello. Brand, model of the camera, and where you got it from. My new one. My new camera is a vlogging camera. It has a screen, so you don't look in the screen when you vlog, but you can position it and make sure you're in focus and you can see everything. So that's really important when vlogging. This is a Canon M50 Mark II. It was about $1,200 and I got it from JB Hi-Fi. The only problem with it, and this annoys me a little bit because I'm been a photographer before, so I'm used to lenses and stuff. This lens is a 15 to 45, and I find it's a little bit still a little bit close for vlogging. So I'll probably end up looking at buying another lens to go on here, which would be an 11 to 22. That'll just make it a little bit wider for me. With my arm reach, I still feel like it's a little bit close up on my face. And, like I'm not getting any younger, so I'm a little bit wider, please. So I might end up buying the another lens to go on it. But I think the 11 to 22 lens is about $500. So I might look at even trying to buy a secondhand one on eBay. Yeah. I've had a huge break from eBay and need to reassess. Question, should I sell books as they seem to be in demand, or should I stick with handmade bath products? What's more in demand? Okay. Here we go. You should always sell what you love. So don't just sell what everybody else sells because other people sell it. Because like for me, I absolutely hate selling electronics, but I know other people who make so much money from selling electronics, and they will make more money than me and they sell electronics. Do you know what I mean? But that's because they love electronics and they know electronics, and I don't love electronics and I don't know them. So I don't want to sell them. So my biggest tip on when you're looking for something to sell on eBay is, one, I think you should first start by experimenting with everything so you can work out exactly what it is that you do like selling and what you don't like selling. Like I learned quite quickly on when I sold clothes that I hated selling dresses, hated photographing them. I don't like wearing dresses. It was just like I just did not like doing dresses. So in the end, I stopped picking up dresses and I gravitated more towards selling like shorts and skirts and pants, to selling shirts and dresses and tops. So I think when you do something, you learn it and it teaches you, and I think you need to learn. And I think it's a great idea for people when they start on eBay to start with a general store and start selling all different bits and pieces to figure out exactly what it is they want. So I think books are an amazing way to implement a niche into your general store, but it's like you need to sell everything for a while before you would definitely decide to do like books full time like me, because it's hard. It takes up a lot of space. It's a lot of work. Like I think it's a lot more work doing the books full time than it was when I was doing a general store with everything in it. So definitely, if you love selling handmade bath products and that's your passion, then still sell handmade bath products. But maybe you could have a general store, so you could do your bath products, and you could have some books, and you could have some clothing, and you could have some ornaments, and you can have like DVDs and media. You can have a whole lot of different things in that store. So don't just say I'm not sure what my niche is. Like, should I just make this my niche? Try things first, because there are risks involved in taking on like a niche on its own as well. Like there's risks involved with me just doing books. Like if the market dies and that's all I've got, books, well, that's a risk. So when you've got a more general store, there's less of a risk. But my biggest tip is start with general stores, try everything. But the most important thing is sell what you love and sell what you like. And sell what you enjoy. Because if you don't sell what you enjoy, and if you don't sell things that you like, then eBay becomes a chore. Because let's face it, it's repetitive, and that's why I like doing YouTube, because eBay to me is quite boring. I'm way too much of a creative person to just do eBay on its own. So eBay is boring, basically. It's repetitive and boring. So you must sell things that you like and you enjoy sourcing. You got to find those things that you love the hunt of. So, whether or not that's a single niche or a full general store, don't know. But if you love your handmade stuff, then don't just drop your handmade stuff. If you love it, if that's a passion of yours, keep doing it. Where are we? Do you recommend a specific genre if someone is just starting to sell books? There are so many choices to start with. No, because the only way that you learn is to try different things, and then you will make mistakes, and you learn by making mistakes. Absolutely, you learn. You will do better in life if you make mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail. Gary Vee says that all the time, and like everyone knows, I love Gary Vee. Don't be afraid to fail, because you don't learn. That's how you learn. You learn by failing. So if you just start by selling one genre of books, then you're missing out on a whole lot of other books. So, you can spend a lot of time researching a particular genre and get used to that, but don't just try and do one genre. I wouldn't. I would start by just doing a mixed bundle. And some of the best ways that I've learned with books was when I've bought like big hauls of books that are the type of books that I would not normally pick up. And I've looked at them and gone, I don't like the look of these books. They're old and they're crappy. And then sometimes they're the books that surprise you. And they're the books that I've learned the most from, because they're the books that I wouldn't have normally have touched or picked up. So, and some of them have been rubbish, but some of them have been awesome. But yeah, that's the only way to learn. No, I haven't used any malware. I told you I'm not very techie. I don't know how to put malware on my Mac. I'm too scared to put malware on my Mac. I do have this guy, Dave Repairs, who's been a big help. And he's been trying to help me with it, but I'm not sure I'm very good at listening to his advice. Now, what's Dave written? Oh, yes. Thank you, Dave, for sharing our Reno channel. Where are we? I am shifting from selling clothes to focus on books and toys, but I hate reading and I don't have kids, but I love selling them. Well, that's it. But if you love selling something, if you love selling it, then go for it. Because if you can source it as well, it makes a big difference if you can source it, if it's in an abundance to source. There are some good YouTube videos on lifting and building under homes. Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think I want to go that far. Where are we? Are you still planning to film the renovation with your husband on the new channel? Yes, it is. Yes, and that was partly why I wanted the new camera, because when we do the house renovation, we are going to have a new channel for it where because I don't want to mix it here with my eBay stuff, because some people won't want to see that. So I'll make a new renovation channel that's all about the reno and the family kind of doing it. And that will be totally more of like a vlogging style, like every time we do something and showing it. And my husband is a carpenter and a painter by trade, so he's going to be doing the reno, and, we're going to try and do it all on a budget. So hopefully it'll be quite relatable. Jody's saying, I've swapped over from reselling clothing as well, but I swapped over to trading cards and it's been so fun. These things take up like no space and they're really nice to look at. Yeah, isn't that so good? Like, there's a lot of people who make really good money off trading cards, postcards, and things like that take up absolutely, like you could literally just put them in your shelves. So that is the worst part about books, is very quickly that they will grow and take over your space, and they take up a lot of space, and you probably, if you want to look at doing a lot of bulk books, you're going to end up needing storage. So you have to weigh that in when you start considering it into what you want. But that's so awesome. There's a lot of clothing sellers that start with clothing and then they switch to other genres. And I actually think it's awesome, but to start with clothing. If you've never sold on eBay, you will learn so much if you sell clothing. I think selling clothing, like everyone should try it. Everyone should do it. And I know there's a lot of people who have never tried clothing, but I think it's like an amazing thing to start with when you learn eBay is selling clothing, and you will quickly learn which you just learn a lot about brand research and what styles sell, and it just helps you going forward when you start looking for other things. I don't know, something really good about selling clothes, but I think it's awesome that you've found something now that you're having fun with, because clothing can be hard work as well, like measuring, ironing, washing. Like it can become a bit of a chore. So hats off to everyone who does clothes for ever and a day on eBay. How can you justify the postage on a book when offering free postage? Okay, well, you've got two options. You either charge you either go, I'm going to charge $5 for the book and $8 for the postage, or you're just going to charge whatever that didn't work out right. But let's say it's $8 for the postage and you've got a $15 book. So you either charge $8 for the postage and $7 for the book, or you just charge $15 as a whole. It's the same thing. So you just have to work it into your costs. So you just have to know when this is where it comes all about your knowledge. So you need to know that if you're selling something for $15, you need to know how much your costs are. So I know that if I'm selling something for $15, between my postage costs, my eBay fees, and if I'm working on a cost of good that's cost me about 50 cents, then I'm going to make a $5 profit of a $15 item after I've paid the postage, the eBay fees, and that's about a $5 profit. So you have to be prepared for that. So we don't all want $5 profits. That's not how we make our money and get rich. I don't know if anybody's real rich off eBay. Most of us do this for the lifestyle. But the $5 profits are good for me because they're bread and butter to my store. They bring activity to my store. I'm sourcing these items for either free or for cheap. I'm not paying out lots of money to sell an item for $15. So that's where you have to be really careful. You can't afford to sell an item for $15, including free postage, if you're paying too much for that item. That's all about the buying cost. It's all about the buying cost. And you don't want to be selling something for $15 with postage that's taking you ages and ages to photograph and package and things like that. Whereas my books are so simple, like everything's so fast for me to photograph. It's fast for me to post. Like everything is done with speed with my business, I guess. All my processes are fast. So I think that's what you've got to look at as well. Like when you're doing it in bulk like me and in volume, it's just a very fast process, and it doesn't really matter with the $15 book. But what does matter is your buying cost. So you have to be getting those books for free or extremely cheap. Where are we? This is a great community of helping each other, and your advice is the bomb. Thank you, David. I love seeing all your comments. I notice you've been following me for a long time and you comment. I know you've got a big bookstore yourself on eBay. I'm pretty sure I know your store, David, which I'm not going to say it, but I'm pretty sure I know it, and like you're doing really, really well. So, well done. Do you only scan books of eBay for comps? I don't actually scan them, so I manually type them in to price the books because I like the problem with scanning. So we can scan on our eBay app to find the price of a book, like on eBay. But in eBay Australia, it's not required to put in the barcode number into a listing. So most sellers are not putting in the barcode. The only ones who are putting in the barcode are the really, really big sellers like Angus and Robertson, like big sellers. Most people don't. So it makes it hard if you're price comping your books by using the scanner, because then it's only going to give you the books sold that have got the barcode entered, and all the other ones that don't have the barcode entered aren't showing up. So I find that the completed sales can be a little bit skewed if I'm using the barcode. So basically I use the copy and paste. So I have changed the way that I'm kind of doing my listing processes from how I was doing it a couple of months ago. My virtual assistant is now drafting instead of listing for me, and I'm sitting back here at the computer got 2 tabs open. I copy and paste the title of the book that she's already written into the listing into the second eBay tab, and I'm looking at completed sales, and then I'm popping my price in from that. So it's very quick. It's just like a copy and paste. Yep, run that, copy and paste, run it, check the completed sales, price my book. So it's very fast. So now I'm actually photographing all my books before I even price them. Yeah. Sorry, Mel, off to bed. Our clocks, I know your clocks have changed. It's quite late there now. Thank you for watching, Sheila, and see you next time. Did I skip a bunch of comments? I'm not sure if I'm aware. I might have skipped because sometimes it skips. Please, 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 if I've missed your comment. When transitioning to a new store, is it all right to have all the items listed in both of your stores? Questions. Okay, this is tricky. Yes, you can have like the same listing in both stores. However, if it sells in one store, you have to quickly make sure you remember to go and take it out of the other store, if that makes sense. So that can get tricky, and if you get busy and you miss it, then you could end up selling something that you've already sold because you've basically got it listed twice, but you've only got one item. So you just have to be really, really careful. You know, like you have to manually be going in there and deleting those listings in the second store when it sells in the other store. So I probably wouldn't recommend that. I would say that if you're transitioning to a new store, just take the book out of that store, put it in the store that you want, or the item of clothing or whatever it is that you're selling. I would just pull it out of the store that you don't want and put it into the new store rather than having it listed twice. But that's yeah. I mean, you can do it, but it's risky because you have to manually remember to do it. And I guarantee that there'll come a time where you forget. Yes, when you buy them in bulk, the prepaid green envelopes. So yes, they give you a 4% off. Yeah, the green envelopes are definitely the cheapest way to go. And if you can fit the book in there that's under 500 grams and under 2 centimeters thick, way to go. Hi from Wales. In the store that you're closing, do you have to relist the books manually? Is there a way to move them over? Okay, so at the moment, I'm trying to run some sales and stuff to get it down before I get to that point. So I'm not listing or doing anything active in there except for maybe setting up a promotion to run or printing out my orders. Once I get the store down a little bit, then I'm going to look at moving them all over to the other store. And like I said, I'll probably go through that store and pull out all the low books that are under $14 and then see if I can bundle them up and decide what to do with them. So that'll take a chunk from that store as well. Somebody has told me, and I don't know if this is true because I haven't looked into it, but somebody has told me that you can actually pay eBay to merge your stores, but they charge you about $1 a listing. I don't know if that's true, so don't quote me, but that's what somebody told me. But yeah, I would have to relist them all manually. I would just pay my virtual assistant to do it, but so I wouldn't do it myself. I'd just pay her. She would quite happily do that for me. At what stage? I did miss a whole heap of questions. At what stage do you decide to retire listings that haven't sold? Well, at the moment, I don't really retire them. Like I've got the space for them at the moment, but the space is now kind of becoming that bit of an issue because maybe if I've got like a lot of books in there around this low end, David, like the $12 to $14 books that are really going to make me not much money once I sell them, maybe I'm better to move all those books out of the store, try and bundle some of them up. And if they don't sell with bundles, push those books along. Because if I can make room up in my storage sheds, I could almost downsize, I reckon, move the packing room that I've got into the death pile room. If I can get the death pile room down a little bit, I can probably merge those two. I reckon, if I get the death pile down a little bit. So that's something that's maybe on the cards at some stage as well. But I don't really, like I've had a bit of a set and forget because the thing with books is some of the books are long tail. Not all of them are going to be quick flips. Some of them are for very specific topics and they're only going to suit certain people. And so you've got to be prepared to sit on some of those books for a while. So I haven't really retired any books as such yet, but it is something that I'm looking at doing soon, to do like a bit of a cull and go, okay, I've been in the storage shed now for 6 months. So anything that's like, if I've got a lot of listings in there that have been there for 6 months, then those listings have probably been at my house, for 6 months. So really, if it's been there for over a year, do I really want it? I think what I'm going to do, David, as well, is start a clearance category onto my store, and then I'm going to put some books that have been sitting for a long time into the clearance section of my store, and I'm going to have those running at a sale. So that's another thing that I want to try that I haven't done before. Better off bundling more instead of single books. Yeah, Landshark. So when you bundle, you make more money, because you can send like often, like, so say I'm picking up these books for 50 cents and I got 4 books, that's $2. And I can fit those 4 books into like a medium satchel that I can often just fit 1 book into. So it's not costing me very much more to post the 4 books. And my cost of goods goes from 50 cents to $2, which is nothing. And I can sell the books, instead of selling a book for like $14, $15, I can sell it for like $40, $45 for 4 books, including postage. So I end up making a heap more profit by bundling my books than I do individually. So that's why I do like to bundle them when I've got the same authors, or definitely if you've got a series of books. If you can sell the series or the trilogy or whatever as a group, definitely the way to go. Hey, Richard. Okay, how do you keep track of what you have paid for each book? SKU on the listing, tape on the book, Excel. What about the books you've put aside to find other books to make a full set? How do you track costs in? Okay, so my accountant doesn't want to see what I sell each individual, what I've paid for every single individual book. Like, I have 10,000 books. She does not want to see that I've paid 10 cents for this book, 50 cents for this book, $1 for this book. She does not give 2 hoots. What she wants to see is the amount of money that I've spent in general. So when I do my spreadsheet, I have all the money that I've spent. So my expenses, and then I have all my income. And then basically your income minus your expenses is your profit. So I think I don't complicate it. So no, I used to keep like a SKU system when I did clothing. So in my SKU system, I would put the amount of money I'd paid for the clothing, because it used to vary quite a lot with clothing. Sometimes I would pay $2 for an item. If I was buying like an expensive pair of R.M. Williams jeans, I might pay like $10 for the item. So I used to put my total at the end of my SKU. So I would do my tub number. So say it was tub number 5, and then everything had an item number. So let's say it was 527. So it would be 5/527/5, which would be $5 because I paid for that item, or 2 or 10 or what it was. And then what I could do at the end of my tax time is I could run a inventory report by going down the SKU in eBay, and I could add up how much my inventory was worth. But now that I'm doing books, the majority of my books are under $1. Do you know what I mean? So I can make a pretty good guesstimate of my books, because I'm paying nearly the same amount for all my books. Like, I very rarely buy a book for like over $1. So it's very easy for me to go, okay, well, probably this percentage of my books I've paid $1 for, this percentage of my books I've got for free, this percentage of my books, and it's be very similar. So no, I'm not individually marking how much I've paid for each book. And because some of them I'm getting into hauls and some of them I'm getting free, and the accountant doesn't want to see that. All she wants to know is how much I've spent in the month of March and how much money I've made in the month of March. And then what the income is minus those expenses, that's your profit. So keep it simple, but talk to your own accountant, because that's my accountant. But talk to your own accountant. But most of the time, like, realistically, think about like Woolworths. Like, are they honestly giving their accountant, oh, we've sold 5,000 Mars bars and 2,000 Bounty bars? Or are they just saying we've sold 7,000 chocolate bars, confectionery? Like, they bundle it up. I don't know. Or is it just, again, expenses, this? Does not having a top-rated seller ribbon affect your sales? It could. It could. I think it's good to have that top rated. I think eBay will definitely favor stores that are top rated and are doing the right things with all their metrics. So yes, I would aim to try and get the top ribbon. Whether or not it affects sales, I don't know. I've been top rated for so long. I haven't dropped, so I don't know if it does affect your sales. But what I do know is that things affect your sales. Like if there's a case open against you, no doubt about it, sales plummet. I find it. I've heard other people say it. If somebody opens a case about me, my sales drop. So the first thing I want to do is close that case, get it done. I don't care if I have to refund, whatever. I just want that case gone. So I definitely think that having things do affect your sales. Definitely. I just try and keep it all, clear on that kind of side. Hey, Dwayne. Pitter Patter, just subscribe to your Reno channel. Thanks so much. I'm still finding books I cancelled years ago. Oh, that's hard. It's hard. Why are the book prices so high in Australia? Are they mostly imported into the country? Is it a scarcity? If you're meaning why are the book prices so high, like that I sell them for on eBay, I think the difference is we don't actually have Amazon to compete with. So like you guys in America and UK, you have Amazon to compete with and we don't. We are just eBay. Like we're not allowed to sell secondhand books on Amazon. So our only real platform for selling books is eBay or Facebook Marketplace. And I've tried Facebook Marketplace for books. There's no way I get the same amount of sales as on Facebook Marketplace as eBay. So yeah, I don't know if that's why our books, like why we've got such a strong book market, or if the prices are so high, but I think it's just that we don't have Amazon to tank our book prices. So I think we're pretty lucky. How's the weather in Canberra this morning? It is I've got my jumper and my bed socks on and I'm kind of wishing that I had the heat bag here sitting on my lap. The sun's out, but it's still, the mornings are a little bit cool, but yeah, normally around Easter, that's when it starts to get pretty cool coming. Hey, Nick, how you going? Are there any issues to be aware with reselling old library books? I don't think so. Like I've sold old library books before. I think as long as you grade them correctly, if you're selling library books, they've often got little stickers on the spine. They might be covered in plastic. They might have stamps inside them. And all you got to do is mark all that stuff in your listing. So if they had that kind of stuff in them, I would probably mark the books as acceptable condition. And you can actually, there is a little tick off in the books listings for ex-library books. And as long as you say, please see the photos for the condition and read the description, and then you've got marked acceptable because it's got those flaws in it, it's got a stamp on it, it's got a sticker on it, mark it as an acceptable. People don't mind. They just want to save a few dollars. You'll notice sometimes that the price of a brand new book compared to a secondhand book is only like a few dollars. So people are willing to save those little bits of money on books because books are expensive. Are you part of any mastermind groups? No, I'm not. If I was going to join a mastermind group, it would probably be with Daily Refinement, Chris from Daily Refinement. He does mastermind groups on his YouTube channel. I think he's awesome. But no, I'm not really in any mastermind groups. I do have some mastermind friends, aka Nick Hills. No, I do have some mastermind friends that really help me out. I've got a lot of resellers that I can contact who've been big helps to me. A couple of big sellers in America as well who've been really, really generous with their time when I go to them and ask them for some advice with things. And yeah, I think as long as you reach, I don't have a problem with reaching out and asking people for help or reaching out and making contacts with people. So I think if you want to nut something out, like find a group of like-minded people, whether or not that's a mastermind group or just a group of friends. There's another guy in this chat, I don't know if he's still here, but Craig Landshark Picker. He and I sometimes get together with a few other people and we nut out some stuff about YouTube. So like that's good. So just having some friends to like chat things through with, that's good, but not a specific group. Good morning from Sydney, is it? Sydney Motovlog. Thank you so much for every bit of precious information you are sharing. Thank you for listening and for just supporting me and watching my videos. I've been wanting to get into books, but every time I go to the thrifts, all the books I check for, nothing. Keep looking. Keep looking. Maybe you're just looking at the wrong types of books, and make sure you're looking for sets of books when you're in the thrift stores, because you'll often find sets of books in the thrift stores, like or same authors. So make sure you're looking at that. So if you see, if you go to the thrift store and you can see like 4 or 5 or 6 books sitting on the shelf all by the same author, then not only look up like the individual author, but look up bulk or bundles of those authors and see what then they're going for. That would be my suggestion. Morning, Aid. Have you been looking into local warehouses into an attempt to get out of the storage units with their heat? I haven't so much yet, maybe down the track. I did go for a drive yesterday. I went and met a guy, like about a contact about doing a bulk deal. And they had some warehouses out there that are a lot cheaper. It's about an hour away from my house, but a lot cheaper than where I'm currently living. So I did kind of run through my head about, would I be prepared to drive an hour every day to come out to a warehouse? Because it would be really, really cheap. But yeah, I'm not sure. I did make a video about going out with the guy yesterday and talking to him about my bulk deal. But I was going to post it today, and then I was like, it's really noisy when I'm talking in the car because I'm going down the highway at like 100 kilometers an hour. So you can hear a lot of the car noise, and I'm not sure if people will like to watch that in the video because it'd be a bit distracting maybe for those couple minutes. But my friend Nick said, what do you say? Get it, doesn't have to be perfect, whatever. So we'll see. I might put that video out. Question, can you please talk about work and life balance? What is your secret? Okay. Don't know if I got a secret, and I don't know if I've got it all going on. It's a really, really, really tricky one. Separating my business to the storage units has helped my work-life balance because I don't have it all here anymore. So the only thing I can do here at home now is on the computer, whereas before I used to be pottering around with books, or I'd be photographing here, and like now I've kind of got set times and places to do certain jobs. So that has definitely helped. I've got 4 kids, and they're all a bit older, so they're all very good at doing chores. Well, I wouldn't say very good, but they can do chores. Do you know what I mean? Like they help me with the dishes, and they help me, cook, and they do different things for me. So I definitely have a husband that helps out a lot as well. If I'm working at night, then he will come home and he will cook and help me out. So no complaints there. Please talk about work-life balance. I think I might do a couple of videos on this which talk about it in more depth, because it's hard on like just to talk about it here in a little thing. But maybe I'll do a video and give you some tips on work and home life balance, and we'll nut it out together. But I think it's just staying focused is the hardest thing, and I need to break everything down into batches to stay focused, because I can't do the same task for too long. I just get too bored. My mind starts to drift. I start doing like a job that's not as good. But batching is a massive tip from me. If you don't already batch, then you should be batching absolutely everything that you do. Yeah, everything I do is in batches, whether or not that's for work or even for home. I try and do like a chunk of washing all at once, or you can batch cook your food all at once, or you can batch your cleaning at once, or you can batch when you're doing it with your business, batch your photography all at once, batch your listings, sit down and do listings in a couple of hours chunks, photography in a couple of, I do pick all my orders in a batch. Then I do all the shipping in a batch. So everything I do is batched. So I think that definitely helps. Did you get heavily into books because you love books, or because it's easy money, or both? I don't think I really intended it. It just kind of happened. I bought a few hauls. Those hauls became more hauls, and I just really enjoyed it. I think it was nice, a bit like you, Jody, where you said it's been a nice change to go to the baseball cards from the clothing. The clothing is like a lot of work, a lot of measuring, a lot of washing, a lot of ironing. So it was kind of nice to go into the books like that. I don't think it's because it's easy money as such. Like, I think the money is consistent for me. I haven't noticed a huge, like my sales are kind of like this at the moment. Maybe a little bit down this month, but normally like fairly plateau. So I need to be able to get my sales up. I don't know if by getting them up, it's more about the listings or more just about the quality of the getting rid of some of those $15 books and getting more of those higher end books into my store. So I'm still juggling with that as well. So I don't think the books make more money, but I think the books are good money, but they're also, it's just the abundance. They're so easy for me to find and source and like, and I do enjoy it. So for me, it's like all those things put together. I enjoy it. They're easy for me to source in my area. They might not be as easy for everyone to source where they are, but I don't have any problem sourcing enough books, quality books. So it just kind of works for me. And because I'm doing a lot of things, even YouTube is very time consuming. So for me to only have to focus on, like when I go into the charity shop now, and instead of having to spend an hour looking through a whole store, I only have to go to the bookcase and then I'm out and I'm off to the next one. So everything is just so much more streamlined with my focus, and that just works better, I think, for my personality. Where is your Coca-Cola? No Coca-Cola. I'm trying to get off the Coca-Cola. What's my favorite book series? True Blood. I love the True Blood series like crazy. I've read it so many times. I don't know what it is about it. I absolutely loved it. I did not like the movie series, but the series was a HBO series, nothing like the books, and ruined it. There is a series that I'd like to read, which is called the Outlander series, and I've never picked up books from the Outlander series, and I'd really like to read it. So my birthday is coming up in July, so I might actually hit the family up to buy me the Outlander series for my birthday, because yeah, I don't read as much as I'd like to, but I do love it when I get into it. But other than that, I like to read like romance novels, really. I like the good old Mills and Boon. Where are we now? I think I've caught up on those messages I missed. Let me go down. If I'm missing a comment, please write comment. Thanks, Jody. Wishing you the best with your house. Yep, the flip out screen. Where are we? I'm reading down here. Sorry, guys. Where are we? I'm so behind. What is your highest price achieved so far on one of your books? On a single book, it would have been the Bible that I sold for $200. It's crazy, $200 for a book. I have sold sets of books for around the like $180 to $200 mark. So I don't know if I've sold, there's maybe one set that went over the $200, but most of my high kind of books that I would say that I really like, I'm chuffed about, would be like the $150 to $200 sales. They're awesome. Even $100 to $200 sales, like $100 book that you've bought for like 50 cents or $1. Like it just blows me truly blows me away sometimes, like the price of some of those books. And it's quite common for me to sell like a bundle of books, $70, $80, $90. So yeah, like again, that always blows me away. Like it's just crazy when you're picking these books up for like 50 cents each, you get 6 of them in a set, and then you go on and sell them for like $80, $90. Just like, what? It's crazy. Here's my 2 cents. If you can find items that is unique, such as Mel with her bundles, or you could be known for books with signatures, it's going to be hard to sell items that everyone else sells for X clothes. If you can find items that is unique, such as Mel with her bundles, or you could be known for books with signatures, it's hard going to sell items that everyone else sells. Okay. Yes, it is hard going when you are selling the same as what everyone else does. And that's why my cat. Penny. The cat's distracting me because it's scratching. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay, yes. When you are, and this is the problem with say the low end fiction books that I'm selling or the more everyday books. If you're selling stuff that is common and everybody else is selling it, then it's going to be, it's almost like a race to the bottom then. That's when everyone starts undercutting themselves with pricing. And this is why I like the bundling, because most of the time my bundles that I make up, unless they're a series, but if they're just a general bundle of books that I'm making up, they might be different to the bundle that Mark's making up if he's selling bundles. So then we're all kind of selling different things. We don't start tanking each other with prices. And this can be a bit of a tricky thing with books, because if everyone starts going out and buying the books and getting those low-end books, and then you're seeing, okay, well, all these stores have these books listed for $14. I'm going to list it for $12 or $13. One, you're literally going to make no money, and it's only going to be a matter of time where you go, okay, I'm not making any money on that. I don't want to sell that anymore. So you better, with those low end books, you're better off to price accordingly with everybody else, because the thing is, there's such common books. It also means that they're probably selling more regularly, so you can afford to price competitively on those books. So I wouldn't overprice on them, but I wouldn't underprice on them. You've got to try and stay at that competitive level if everyone kind of gets on level with those common things. But yeah, I think books with signatures, they can go really well. They're not always easy to find, and sometimes you just get a haul and then all of a sudden there's a few books there with signatures. But yeah, it's a little bit different. It is hard. It is a hard yards when you're selling the same as everyone else. But you can make yourself even look a bit different. Like if you're selling something that is exactly the same as somebody else and there's a lot of it, you're competing against a lot of people, you have to think to yourself, like from a marketing perspective, how am I going to make my listing stand out? Okay, so your title needs to be strong. Your photos need to be strong. And maybe there's a way that you can mix up your photos a little bit, the way that you position things, I don't know. But I mean, eBay likes to have a nice, fresh, white, clean background. And if everybody does that, then we all obviously look exactly the same. But maybe, there is a way to kind of position things in your photos to just give it the angles can make all the difference. So yeah. Hello, Mr. Diggs. Where are we? I can't. Sorry for the silly question, but were your customers mostly Australian or out of the country? So I only post Australia-wide at the moment. I am looking at bringing in some international postage on some of my books, not all of them. I will be looking to do some international on some books, not the lower end books. Not the bundles of books, but more of those more boutique-y coffee table type books. I might start offering those with international post. But at the moment, I only ship to Australia. I think I've missed a comment there by Al. Hey, Mel. Check out eBay store Lismore Books and Stuff. Their sell-through rate of 12 books per day, 1,072 books sold in the last 90 days. Wow. So, yeah, that's pretty good. So, where are we? They've got a pretty good sell-through rate, 12 books a day. It's probably similar to me, like 1,072 books. I've sold more than that in the last 90 days. I got a pretty good sell-through rate. Books and Stuff. I've actually seen that name, Books and Stuff. I think I know who that is. Okay, I think I know who that is. And she might be in this chat. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I think I know who that is. But yes, if it's who I'm thinking of, she has a fantastic sell-through rate and she sells a lot. I'm missing a few things here. Do you get many fraud or items not arrived or fraud returns? Pretty much none. Pretty much none. I bet the only time I'll ever get like somebody coming back to me is if an item hasn't been received, like if it hasn't turned up in post or if it's running a little bit late. But no, I haven't had anybody that's done fraud sales, fraud returns. I don't get anybody saying the item's not as described. I don't get, and that's probably partly because I downgrade my books to hopefully make the books better than what they're expecting. So I don't get any items not as described, and I don't have anybody really. I had one book where I sold a bundle of kids' books, and apparently there was some text inside one of them, like some texter, and I missed it. So she kind of was a bit like, oh, there's writing inside the books. But realistically, I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty lucky. I don't really get done over by with the books, much more with clothes. I used to have much more problems with clothes. Mastermind. Hey, Sam. Where are we? I had to sell 300 plus items in 2 months while in below standard just to keep my account. When you're in below standard, your listings pretty much don't show up anywhere, making this insanely hard. I failed. Okay, so Jodie's probably replying to the other person who left a message before asking about the does it make a difference to your store if you're not a top-rated seller? So, Jodie, what I would have to say to you here is, okay, so you are admitting here that you failed with something, and I don't know the full story or whatever it is, but just remember that we learn from things that we fail at. So don't think of it as a negative. Think of it as a positive, because like what you did wrong in your reselling business is going to make you better in your reselling business going forward. So not a negative, and don't be ashamed of failing. Like, fail and learn. How much does a virtual assistant charge? Is it per listing or an hourly rate? Okay, the virtual assistant is different for everyone. Basically, it's like hiring a staff member. So you set the contract between you and your virtual assistant. So when you hire a virtual assistant, you can look for one that has a base rate and then you pay their base rate, or you can make some kind of contract up with what your job is that you're offering. So that's what I did with my virtual assistant. I made a contract up with her so that she lists 50 books at a time. I don't pay her by the hour. I pay her a set amount to list 50 books for me. And then sometimes I send her 100 books, so then I just double it. So basically but I never just send her 20 books. They're always in lots of 50, and she gets paid per lot of 50. So, and that's just a rate that her and I came up to the agreement with. She had applied for my job application. She told me what her going rate was, and I kind of worked out roughly how long I thought it would take to do 50 listings, and then went to her with a offer. I didn't want to be worrying about paying her by the hour, checking in, making sure she was always working on my time. Didn't really bother me. I just want those 50 listings done within like a 24 to 48 hour period. She pretty much does them overnight when I send them. She's very, very fast. Very rarely does she go over the 24 hours. So yeah, basically I didn't want to be checking in with her on the time. I just wanted that set amount. But it just depends what you want them to do. And like book listings might be more different to clothing listings. So you like everything has to be paid in accordance. So you work out roughly how you either pay them by the listing or you pay them by a chunk on what you estimate they should be able to do it in the time. I don't care. I don't care if my virtual assistant does the 50 listings in an hour or if it takes her 5 hours. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I think that the amount that we've worked on, like, that's a fair amount for her and me. And it seems like a cheap rate for me, but to her it's a lot of money because they're in different countries. Do you know what I mean? And when you do these virtual assistants, they often set their hourly rate they tell you what their hourly rate is normally, and then you either pay it or you negotiate. It's just like hiring a staff member. Can I go to the bathroom? Where are we? Have you ever thought about opening a physical bookstore? It would be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind having like some kind of warehouse where I could open up a bookshop like within that, like a couple of days a week, maybe not like full time, but maybe open it to the public a couple of days a week. That would be cool. I would definitely look at doing that if I ever got some kind of better warehouse. I can't really do it in the storage units, but I would definitely like it. So yeah, I would. It's not on the cards just yet, but maybe down the track, maybe. Have you sold off all your reselling clothing? No. I have sold a chunk of it. I sold all to another local Canberra girl. She bought all my pants, my jeans, my skirts, my shorts, basically all the bottoms. She bought all the bottoms. So that was great. That took half of it, a huge chunk. I also sold off a bulk deal on Facebook Marketplace of 50 pairs of shoes, just a big bulk lot. That got snapped up very quickly. So no, but I've still got a lot here. And I'm procrastinating on it, Ian. I'm very much procrastinating on it. Where are we? I've just got in from cutting the grass. So if this question has already been asked, then I apologize. But how do you know how much to start a price on your books to sell on eBay, Annette? Okay, so you need to look up what other books are selling for on eBay. So you look at the completed sales. I do have a video on my channel about how to look up completed sales on eBay if you're not sure how to do it, if you're new. So you just look up the completed sales. That particular video that I did was on clothing. But it's the same for books. You just run it if whatever you're selling. But basically, you just look up the completed sales and you really have to go accordingly. Like something is only worth what something is willing to pay. So if there's like 5 books there of the same book that have all sold and they've all sold between that $20 and $25 mark, then I'm going to price somewhere in between that $20 and $25 mark because that is what's consistently selling. So I try to keep my pricing mid-range. I don't want to be the highest. I don't want to be the lowest. Try and keep it around that mid-range so I can stay competitive. I think it's a really good idea to stay mid-range. And I also don't have any offers on my books. So once I set my price, that's my price. I don't worry about people making me these low ball offers where I've got to worry about it. But I do send offers. So if I get watches on a book, then I'll have a look if there's any margin to move in that book, even if it's only $1, and I'll send them an offer for like $1 less. Whatever the minimum is, I will sometimes send the very bare minimum on an offer. But I think pricing your books takes a little bit to get used to, but the majority of it is doing your research, looking up what books are selling for on eBay, what books similar are selling. And if you've got a really, really rare book, then it can be a little bit harder and you might have to do a little bit more of Google research. But most of the time you will be able to find how much your books are selling for, either by going by what is actually sold on eBay. And if you can't see any completed solds, then have a look at the ones that are listed and try and stick around that mid-range. I don't think it benefits anyone necessarily always being the lowest. Like some people will steer clear and not buy from the lowest. But I think if you're fair priced, yeah, I don't want to be like so high priced that people just skip past me because I'm so much higher than everyone else. But I like to be in that middle range. Where are we? Is it worth to subscribe to an eBay store in Australia? $25 a month? Yes. If you're going to sell eBay a lot, if you want to sell like in quantity, if you only want to sell a few items from around your home, no, you just need to have an eBay account. If you want to actually have a store and you're going into this with the intention to make money and you want to sell on a consistent basis and not have to worry about keeping down under like 40 listings, then yes, I think it's worth having a store. Definitely. Hey, Meredy. What I do when I buy a lot of books, I divide the number of books with the cost of the lot to get an average price, and I put it in the SKU, and when it sells, the cost of goods, I use the Excel. Yeah. So some people do use the Excel sheets. I just don't. It's just an extra step that my accountant said she doesn't need. So I just am very much on saving as much time as I can and not doing any extra steps that I don't need. But it is very good, I think, when you are first learning to know, like when you're very first learning, it doesn't hurt to have a bit of a spreadsheet just so you can really physically look at it and wrap your head around what things actually cost you. Once you've been doing this for a long time, you really have a great idea inside your head. Roughly, if I sell this for $15, $20, $25, and I've paid roughly this amount, you roughly know in your head how much money you're going to make from it. But when you're first starting out, it can be really, really tricky to work that out. So it can be good to have a spreadsheet at first, but I don't use one anymore. Where are we? Taylor Froman is amazing. I want to join his Patreon. His Patreon is, I'm in the lower, like just the $5 a month one or whatever, where I get the extra podcasts for motivation and stuff. It's very much well worth it. Would you say you sell more book lots or individual books? I sell more individual books because I've got more individual book listings, but I prefer to sell the book lots. The book lots are where I make my money. So definitely, but I think some books can't be sold as a lot, especially when you're doing self-help, nonfiction, cooking, gardening. Like some of them can be, sometimes you can do a cooking book as a lot, but most of the time they're all sold as individuals, and I do sell a lot of those nonfiction books. So yeah, I would say I sell more individuals than bundles, but I make more money off the bundles. What is your promoted listing? I've been experimenting with this a little bit. I used to always just do like 1% on everything. I have been experimenting with trialing doing what the estimated rate is. And on one of my other stores, I've also been experimenting with doing a little bit over the estimated. I haven't really noticed any difference between doing higher promoted listings than the 1%. So I think I'll just stick to the 1% and pay less. But I do think that 1% is like I would have 1% on everything. Like I wouldn't have my listings with no promoted listings. I do think even just running it at 1% helps. Don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. That's it. That was Nick saying, which is very much similar to my Gary Vee quote that I love, where it's like people are so focused on getting shit right instead of getting shit done. And it's just so, so true. And I needed to take my own advice, didn't I, Nick? Where are we? Post has gone down with my post. GST has gone up on international posts. Postage is just expensive all around. Somebody's talking about Backstreet Boys, which I love. I love the Backstreet Boys, but I've missed the convo on what it's about. Books sold very well during the Australian lockdowns. They did sell very well. So it'll be interesting to see going forward, David, because as we all start coming out of COVID, were the book sales really, really high last year because of COVID, or will they remain high? I personally think that book sales will remain very stable. I do think they spiked in COVID, but I do think that even as a general plateau, they are very, very strong sellers. I'm looking at doing books, but I hate to read, so I don't know who's good and who's not. It's just all about research. Like you will learn as you go. I know nothing about most of the authors that I sell, and there's just so many millions of books. There's only certain authors that I've read in my lifetime, but you certainly start to pick up. And if you just spend a few hours researching sold books on eBay, just spend a few hours of personal research looking up the sold comps. You will really start to see, and this goes not only for books, for clothes, for anything that you are particularly selling, media, electronics. Spend a few hours and just research and look up what is selling and look up the pricing, change the pricing in the sold comps so you can look at what's selling for what type of books or what type of clothing is selling for a price over this amount. And then you just start taking in all that knowledge. Research is key. Research is key. Where are we? Nana Tink. Hello, Nana. Hello. Yes, I'm okay. I've been talking for like an hour and a half, so I need a drink. Where are we? I find a lot of the books that go overseas are non-fiction books. Yeah, I definitely won't be putting like international post on James Patterson. But maybe on some of my nice coffee table books or, you know, the nice gardening books and different things. So, yeah. Okay, guys, I might have missed some chats here, but I think I'm going to wind this up because it's an hour and a half, which makes it a long time for anybody who wants to replay this live stream and listen back. But anyone that's been here all this time, thank you so much. Like, it means so much to me that you guys coming into these chats. Another thing that I'm going to say to you guys, while I've still got quite a lot of you in here, I am going to be starting a new weekly video where I actually answer your questions. So when I can't be doing these live streams, I'd like to be doing a video each week because I'm getting a lot of comments on some of my videos and not always those people can join me for a live stream. So I thought I might start making a video with some of the comments that get put onto my YouTube videos. So I'm going to be going through each week and looking at the questions that I get on my videos and I'm going to make them into like a video. So if you do have any questions, guys, going forward that you might like me to talk about in a video, pop it into a comment on one of my videos, maybe write question or something so I really notice it as something to talk about. And that's something that I'm really kind of looking forward to because I do feel like there is a lot of questions and it would be good to do kind of like a live stream here, but where I can actually sit there and you know, think about my answers as well. Sometimes I go off into little tangents when I'm here live because it can be tricky when you're sitting here talking to yourself for an hour and a half. Well, I'm talking to you guys, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I think like making some videos on some specific questions will be quite interesting. So if you've got comments, questions that I miss at any time, if you can't make one of my live streams and you want to leave a comment, drop it and I'll try and get them answered. So thank you so much, guys. I've missed your questions, have I? I'm so sorry. Honestly, like when the chat is going like this and then the chat actually jumps, so I'll be reading and then it jumps and then I can't even find where I'm up to. It's actually really, really, really hard. But thank you. Thank you, guys. And I will see you in another video this week sometime. I've got a new video coming out, so stay tuned. See you guys. Bye.